Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So Eliezer is here with me today, so he's gonna be in the video. Eliezer, say hi. Say hi. Hi. Say hi. He gets so shy.
Hi everybody, my name is Eliezer and I love to play with my mommy stuff.
So I'm going to do a get ready with me / labor and delivery video. I'm doing it so that y'all don't get bored just listening to me talk. So I don't think I'm gonna do my eyebrows today just because they look pretty dark, and I'm just gonna do a natural look. When I was about 31 weeks, I actually got some really bad contractions and I ended up at the hospital, but it was nothing major. It was just the Braxton Hicks that they were getting like really intense. I had Eliezer at 38 weeks, so I needed 2 more weeks to actually be 40 weeks. So I had him on August 10th. On August 9th, I was actually getting my contractions already, but I didn't know that it was actually my contractions just because it was my first time having a baby. So of course I didn't know what to expect, but I just remember that it was like a really bad pain. And then I went to the hospital. Eventually the nurses checked me. They wanted to check if my water had broke, but it actually hadn't broke. So but they did notice that I was 3 centimeters dilated. So I asked her, I was like, so how long is it gonna take for the baby to come? She was like, sometimes it takes either 3 weeks, or sometimes it takes weeks, sometimes it takes just a few days. I was expecting the baby during that week, but in reality I was expecting him during the weekend because my due date was actually the 24th. I thought that he was gonna actually wait for it till I was 40 weeks fully, till it was the 24th, but he didn't want to wait. After they let me go from the hospital, I actually came home. The hospital is pretty far from my house, so when I came back home, I actually went out to eat because I hadn't ate the whole day. When I went out to eat, I remember that I ordered my food and then I just took a few bites, and then after, I couldn't handle the pain that I was feeling. It was like a pain when you go to the restroom but you can't use the restroom because it hurts really bad. So that was my pain. So I thought it was como mal de orín. That's what my mom calls it. The pain was getting really bad. That day my mom had to go for something at church, so she left, and so I'm gonna use a concealer. So I had to go drop off something for her at church because she forgot it at home. But when I left, I just remember that my pain was getting like more intense, but I didn't think that it was actually my contractions. I just thought that it was because of the same pain of earlier. So I just stuck that out because I was like, what's the point? The doctor already said that the baby's not ready to come, so there's no point in me going to the doctor again. So then I remember that the next day I woke up at 6 a.m. My pain started getting more and more heavier. I called my mom because I couldn't stand the pain anymore. It was to the point where it was hurting really bad. Eventually I told her to come home. Well, she was telling me if I wanted her to come home, and I didn't want her to come home because I didn't want to bother her with what she was doing at church. So I just kept telling her that I don't think the baby is ready to come. I don't think so, because my mom actually never gave birth to any of me or my brothers normal. She wasn't familiar with what you get when you're gonna have your baby normal. Actually, my mucus plug came out, and I searched it up, and it said that the baby was and then whenever your mucus plugs comes out, that's whenever you're gonna be ready to give birth. So but I had searched that, but I still didn't want my mom to come. Eventually my mom came home. Whenever she came home, I still didn't want to go to the hospital just because I was like, I'm shy. I already went yesterday and I don't want to go again because then they're gonna be like, oh my god, this girl doesn't understand. But in reality, I was feeling the same thing as the day before. I actually had el mal de orín that I told y'all earlier. So that made it worse, and I was throwing up. That's when my mom was actually like, no, like, I don't think this is normal, so we should go. So eventually I started getting my contractions like more worse. When I got there, they gave me, I actually had to wait because there weren't no rooms available. So when they put me in a room, they checked me. I was 3 centimeters dilated, but she actually told me that my water had broke as well, and that was one of the most hurtful things that they check whenever you're about to give birth, like whenever your water breaks. So eventually when they found out that it was that my water had broke, they started preparing me as fast as they could because they had to induce me. And I was trying to thug it out because I was like, I don't want to get the epidural. I want to be strong to have the baby normal. I was actually gonna throw up, and when I was about to throw up, my baby's heart rate came down, and eventually 9 or 10 doctors rushed in the room. They put me a shot on the side of my arm, and then they also put me more shots. I don't know everything they did. When they put me those shots, they started monitoring me. So they wanted to check that the baby's heart rate was good, that the baby was breathing fine, and that we wouldn't have like no complications during his birth. I used foundation, concealer, powder, and also bronzer, and also blush. So they put me in the delivery room. I was waiting there. I was waiting for a few hours, and then after, because I was still trying to thug it out, I didn't want to get the epidural. Like, people had told me really bad things about it, so I was like, no, I don't want to get it because then it's gonna affect me. So I was trying to be strong. The doctor told me if the heart rate doesn't get better, then we're gonna eventually have to do a C-section. But I was like, that's something that I don't want. I want to give birth to my baby normal. I eventually had to get the epidural. The contractions would make me throw up. It was dangerous for the baby. So we actually had to then proceed to the epidural. My mom had to get out of the room because she was there with me. Eliazar's dad was actually on his way there. She had to step out, and she was super worried. And whenever they put the epidural, like, I just remember that I asked the nurse, I was like, can I hold your hand? Because that's how scared I was. So mind you that I was shaking, and I was scared because supposedly whenever you move, then there is a chance that it can actually damage a nerve. They ended up putting me the epidural after. My mom was able to step back in when they did that, and I was eating ice because my aunt was like, eat ice. They're able to keep the baby awake, and the baby is not gonna sleep, so he's able to come down fast. So just remember that I was getting super sleepy, but I was trying to stay awake because then I wouldn't know whenever like the baby would drop. So there's this little trick when you're gonna have a baby. I don't know how many of your parents believe this, but whenever I actually had the contractions and my mom came home, they told her to make me a drink. It actually has clavos, canela. Eventually what that drink supposedly does, that if you're ready to give birth, then it's gonna get you in the stage like to get ready to give birth. But if you're not ready, then it's just gonna calm it down. I was drinking that on my way to the hospital. That's how we eventually knew that it was time, because whatever I drank, whatever my mom made me, and my grandma, whenever they did that, then it didn't stop it. So that's when we actually knew that it was time for the baby to come. Whenever you get the epidural, half of your body is awake and then the other half is asleep. I went to the hospital like at 3, and then at 10 they were already getting me ready to give birth. So when they were getting me ready, that's when Eliazar's dad came, and eventually it was time for me to give birth to the baby. I gave birth to him at 10:26. I started pushing at 10:20. I just took 6 minutes, and Eliazar was eventually born at 10:26, and it was the most amazing thing I have ever been through, and that I'm pretty sure most of y'all have been through as well. Or if you're a first-time mom, then you're gonna eventually get to go through it as well. Or if you haven't had babies and you're still waiting to have a baby, then you will go through it as well. When my mom saw his little face come out, she was the happiest grandma ever, and it was the cutest thing that I can tell you that I have ever witnessed. We were so scared that I would have to end up getting a C-section because it was something that I didn't want to do, and it was such a blessing for the baby to be able to come out natural. So that was like one thing that I was really happy about. When he came out, he weighed 5 pounds with 12 ounces. He was a pretty little baby, and after like they got his little footprints, they got all of that, and then they were preparing me as well. But you know when you have a baby and they all forget about you, so they just go look at the baby and they leave you alone. So yeah, that's what basically happened to me. They all left me alone, but it was one of like the most amazing things. So when the baby was born, they took me to a room upstairs, and I just basically had to wait for him. After they took us upstairs, it was 3 a.m. already, and then the next day family started coming over. Yeah, that's how my labor and delivery went. It was a really crazy ride now that I think about it, but you know, it's memories that I would never want to forget because it was something beautiful. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Well, I'm not even done doing my makeup. Having a toddler or an infant is so hard because you can't do things fast as possible. So I had him inside of my room, but he wanted to be here touching all my makeup, so I had to go. His uncles take care of him whenever I put him downstairs. But yeah, you guys, I also wanted to tell y'all that whenever I hit 100 subscribers, I am going to give away $50. So tell your friends to subscribe, and whenever like I am getting closer to that, I will tell y'all how the giveaway will go and what are you guys gonna have to do so that y'all can enter the giveaway. But that won't be the only giveaway that I will be doing. I will also be doing more giveaways, and this is how my makeup ended up looking. It doesn't match my eyes, so I will probably change it after the video. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I hope you all have a blessed day.